When I was a kid, like most kids, I used to struggle with nightmares pretty bad. And there were some weeks or even months at a time when it just felt like I was having them every single night. And the interesting thing about my nightmares is that they almost always revolved around this one particular character from this one particular series of videos. It wasn't really a TV show. It's called Timmy the Tooth. It's actually pretty cool. It's a puppet show, but I don't think it was ever on TV. I think that it was a series of videotapes, and I used to rent them from the library, and I even bought some because I really, really liked it a lot. Very, very good stuff, and there is a character on the show named the Cavity Goon. He's just a creepy puppet. And he's kind of a bumbling doofus, and that's part of the joke. Like, the protagonist is a tooth, and there's this evil jerk guy named the Cavity Goon who's coming around to, like, foil all of his life pursuits. And his sidekick is named Sweetie, who's she's like a piece of candy, so it, like, follows him that whole the villain is, like, bad for your teeth. He's a very funny character, and in every episode, he gets the short end of the stick. He always gets his comeuppance. But the Cavity Goon just made so many visits to my dreams as a kid. I think he was the majority of the nightmares that I had before the age of 10. He was such a recurring character. And what would generally happen in my dreams is that it would usually be something that had nothing to do with him to start with. I would just be going about my weird dream stuff, and then suddenly I'd get a thought in my head like the Cavity Goon is about to pop up, and I honestly feel like it was my own premonition of it that willed him to actually be there. I'd turn a corner and there he would be, sometimes with Sweetie, sometimes with not, like anybody, but he was yeah, he would just pop up, and instantly, how nightmares go as a kid, your heart starts racing and you wake up just in complete shivers. And he hasn't really been in my dreams for some years, although I did just have a dream where he poked his head in very, very briefly. And even not really being scared of that anymore, I still got a little bit of that same emotional recall. It's he is my antagonist to my dreams. Most of the bad dreams that I have these days usually aren't a thing pops out and goes boogity boogity boo. It's usually something related to an actual fear in my life, like losing money or getting horribly injured or losing somebody or somebody that I care about betraying my trust. It's usually my life, just slightly worse, or sometimes significantly worse, but it's generally within the realm of possibility. A lot of the time, with those dreams, it's almost worse because they linger with you a bit more when you first wake up, and especially, I don't know if you've ever had this, you wake up in a little bit of confusion. Was that actually a dream? And you have to put together the pieces to tell yourself, oh no, that detail isn't true, because for a solid 5 minutes sometimes after I wake up, I swear that thing that happened in my dream is actually the real life case. It's just annoying that my brain or whatever causes these dreams, whatever the dream machine is, knows that I can recover pretty easily from a dream about the Cavity Goon these days, unlike I did when I was a little kid. But dreams that reflect some real life fear are a lot harder to get over. I want to think that the dream machine, the dream wizard, what's ever doing this to me, is actually coming from a good place where he or she is telling me, well, these are real life fears that you have and you just have to confront them. Here's a worst case scenario, and so you need to sort of ruminate on that just a little bit, bring up those emotions so that if something of that bad does happen to you in real life, it'll be something that you can deal with, or at the very least, just don't have any thoughts that you can't think about for even just like a split second without panicking about. I think that's my ideal mindset, is that I can have a thought or a consideration of something that I really would not like to happen, and I can just be okay with it because I realize that it is just a thought, and that even if it happens as soon as tomorrow, that is tomorrow's problem. So thank you, Dream Wizard, for making me deal with some things that I don't always want to, in a way that is safe. But you can leave the Cavity Goon out of it because that dude is still a creep.